Donald Trump's running mate for the U.S. presidential race has taken center stage on the third day of the Republican convention in Milwaukee. Introduced by his wife on stage, J.D. Vance used the story of his tough upbringing in a primetime speech to showcase himself to American voters. The 39-year-old Ohio senator has criticized Trump in the past, but heaped praise on the former president as he formally accepted his vice president nomination. Here's some of what J.D. Vance had to say to delegates.
President Trump's vision is so simple and yet so powerful. We're done, ladies and gentlemen, catering to Wall Street. We'll commit to the working man. We're done importing foreign labor. We're going to fight for American citizens and their good jobs and their good wages. We're done buying energy from countries that hate us. We're going to get it right here from American workers in Pennsylvania and Ohio and across the country. We're done sacrificing supply chains to unlimited global trade, and we're going to stamp more and more products with that beautiful label, Made in the USA.
DW reporter Michelle Stockman was listening to that speech, and she joins me now for more in the studio. Michelle, welcome. What was Vance's main message, and who was it for?
The main message that I took away from this is that he is trying to portray the Republican Party as the big tent party for people who want to make American citizens and America first, no matter their race, gender, their background, basically. And that's a change from the Democratic Party used to be the big tent party, and that's a change from the Republicans of my parents' era, which was known as the compassionate Republicans. And this is basically his chance to say that I am the mini-me of Donald Trump. I have been part of the vast transformation, radical transformation of the Republican Party to one of MAGA. And he was speaking, as he name-checked in his speech, to the auto workers in Michigan, the energy workers in Pennsylvania, and the craftsmen of Wisconsin, important voters because they come from swing states that went for Biden in 2020. If Trump can flip them back, that's 44 electoral votes that would help put the win in his column.
So we heard all of that in the speech. What didn't we hear in the speech?
We didn't hear about a lot of kitchen table issues that women voters talk about, namely abortion. We didn't hear him talk about Project 2025. This is a think tank paper put out by the Heritage Foundation, which basically is a blueprint for, if Trump is elected, to steamroll a very conservative agenda right from the get-go that would do more to roll back abortion rights. It talks about doing things like mass deportations, having deportation camps that a lot of Americans were really worried about. And so definitely we didn't hear about that. He focused on being kind of a family man that would appeal to that woman voter that Trump has trouble with.
So that was all on the domestic front, but Vance also spoke about foreign policy. Let's take a quick listen.
Together, we will make sure our allies share in the burden of securing world peace. No more free rides for nations that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer.
Michelle, what is he referring to there?
He doesn't come out and explicitly say it, but I think he's hinting at NATO, one of Trump's bugbears. And he didn't quite get it exactly right. We know now that 23 member nations out of 32 now are expected by 2024 to contribute 2% of their GDP on defense spending, which is a NATO guideline. He also could be referring to Taiwan. Just on Tuesday, there was an interview released by Bloomberg Newsweek where Trump said Taiwan should pay us for defense. We are like an insurance company to them. So it's very clear that J.D. Vance is not a fan of the Ukraine war. Mm-hmm. He also thinks China is the biggest enemy of America right now, echoing Trump.
J.D. Vance also served in Iraq. He's a former Marine. Does that inform his worldview?
Yeah, and let me just clarify that for you. He did not see any fighting. He was in public affairs. But that experience did define his worldview. He thought that it was an unnecessary war. So that has really influenced his anti-interventionist bent, again, echoing Trump.
But just, we're talking about J.D. Vance there. We need to talk about Joe Biden as well, because just hours before J.D. Vance took to the stage in Milwaukee, President Biden was forced to pull out of a campaign event after testing positive for COVID-19. The details of his diagnosis were revealed while he was on the campaign trail in Las Vegas. The White House says he's only suffering mild symptoms and will self-isolate at his home in Delaware. Michelle, it's not looking good for the Democrats, is it?
I mean, Paresh, if I was a Hollywood writer and I had to come up with drama for the Democratic Party, I could not come up with the dumpster fire of issues that they're facing right now. From Biden's dismal performance debate now to calls that he should withdraw from the race. There have been several prominent Democrats that have spoken to him privately, urging him to consider withdrawing. Democratic Representative Adam Schiff came out and said it publicly. So, we don't know what's going to happen. The polling says that 2/3 of Democrats believe that Biden should withdraw from the race. However, perhaps, even if he does, that doesn't mean that the Democrats are out of the presidential running. If you look at polling as well, people who are voting for Biden, a lot of them are doing it because they don't like Trump. And people who are voting for Trump are voting for him because they like him. So, again, it still could be anybody's race, even if Biden pulls out.
4 more months to go. Thanks so much, Michelle, for coming in and breaking that down for us.